Fair warning. If you're superstitious, maybe you shouldn't listen to this episode. This is No Clip, the secret video game podcast about video game secrets. I'm your host, Matt Aukamp, peeking through the walls of video game history to bring you the Easter eggs, unreleased games, and other secrets of the video game industry. I find all the hidden details and mysteries and talk to the people who can delve even deeper. Learn it all with me on No Clip, a secret video game podcast. If you can find it. Picture our hero, Dave, feverishly working all night on a game. A video game which represents a descent into hell. He outsourced the music to another masked musician called Wormtooth. Dave kept working on a game he could never seem to complete. An Inferno all his own, a game he aptly titled Dave's Inferno. I'm here with Luke Herr, one of the foremost experts on Dave's Inferno. Luke, can you give us some background on the game and its elusive developer, Hallucinogenic Bulb?
Bulb is an anonymous video game designer. Many in the industry dub them like the video game Banksy because they're so mysterious. Up until pretty recently, a lot of people believed that Dave's Inferno was like this internet rumor because Bulb had not released a game in years.
Is Bulb the titular Dave?
A lot of people think that. The main character is named Dante, but people think that it's Bulb referring to himself. Either the game was a hell that he created, or he was trapped in the Inferno.
So, when did Dave's Inferno first surface? And on what platform was it released?
The first mention of like a link to the game was on this website, drowninggame.net, like on the forums there. And it was in some link in a subthread that contained comments about his first game, which was Defenseless back in 2016. The comment simply read Dave's Inferno and linked to the game. The user who did that has been deleted in like all the screenshots that we have. And the link posted there has been broken since like 2016 according to the other users. And like now that it's a whole thing, they don't want to like reply to others, and so that's why some people think that it's a hoax. The next comment from the next comment was like from 2018 when a user noticed that the link had become active again.
Okay, so assuming this deleted user is Bulb, or someone posting on their behalf, why link a game 2 years before it exists?
Well, I mean, that's a weird thing about Bulb, because they like to hide in Easter eggs and make secret elements that are difficult to find unless you're like really lucky and paying attention to the detail, you know, like gamers do. His second game was this unnamed, like, web-based MMORPG that had a secret room in it with, like, a link and, like, only a countdown clock. And that one wasn't found until, like, years later. His third game came out by the time that the, timer had counted down to the moment that the fourth game was released. And some think that that countdown was reset when he released his third game, and no one had actually found the Easter egg.
What's the status of this Easter egg now?
The Easter egg in Dave's Inferno, it's never been found, if it exists, or do you mean the timer?
Yeah, the timer.
Oh, the timer turned into a link. Many players were there to see it, but the thing is, Bulb can be kind of a dick, and so they all got the link to the fourth game, but all the characters in the room were deleted, and then you fast forward off to Martyr Falls.
The fourth game.
Right. When they get to the Easter egg in that one, there's a whole secret room behind the titular Martyr Falls with a mural, and the title of it is listed on a plaque as The Fall of the Martyrs That Watched. And it's like this beautifully painted classic mural of all the characters that had been deleted. And like the amount of time that must have gone into that is just wild. So he farms things out, and the painting was actually done by an artist in Philadelphia, Joy McMillan. And she said that the instructions were incredibly clear. He paid her very well, and he also made her redo it 3 times. weirdly, he ended up just using that first painting. Some theorize that there are further Easter eggs in the game of like each of the other paintings, but Bulb only puts one Easter egg in each game.
Okay, so Dave's Inferno, there is an Easter egg in it.
It's possible, but most people think that the version of Dave's Inferno that people have played isn't like finished. He posted it and then deleted it, and the copies that people have are glitchy, to say the least. The other posts by the deleted account go on to paint this person who's overworking themselves so they have a very tenuous grasp on the world, complaining about how like the characters' movements don't work well enough with the music, how the levels aren't hell enough. The demo people have been able to play, though, ends at level 3, which seems impossible to get through due to the glitches, though the Konami code allows you to cheat to an equally impassable level 99.
And no finished version exists.
Not that anyone's been able to find, though the obvious speculation is the game is completed, but people just haven't been able to figure out Bulb's new puzzle. Hard to tell with his type of game design.
And no word from Bulb about it.
Other than some angry anonymous rants on the message board, if those are real, Bulb has been a lot more quiet than usual. Rumors abound. Some people think this is all a hoax, though a few people who've worked with him are also just really in the dark. Well, most of them. You heard of the music, right?
Only that it was done by someone called Wormtooth?
Have you looked much into Wormtooth? Because no one has been able to track them down to ask him about Bulb. But the music doesn't really sound like Wormtooth's normal fare. The music for the last 3 games have all been made by the same guy.
Centipede.
Right, and they had a falling out. So when Bulb sent him Dave's Inferno, Centipede commented on the fact that the main character was named Dante, so he asked if Dave was Bulb's name. And Bulb just cut him off, and that's when he turned to Wormtooth.
That seems like an extreme reaction.
They are an extreme person. Like, Centipede said that the visuals of the game were nothing alike, and that the original hadn't even been a platformer. Bulb had pulled the entire game from the roots and started over. Centipede's timeline lines up with the timeline on the forum that you see. That's why the hoax theory has lost a lot of the sway.
So things are pointing to this being Bulb. Doing what? Leaking his own work? Beta testing?
That's the thing. It looks like at some point he just goes live with it out of frustration, and he uses the forum as a journal. And he posts a bunch of links, all of which have been deleted. And he has phrases like, "Oh, I think I figured it out," or "I got it this time." There was one version that was downloaded and re-uploaded somewhere else by someone calling themselves the Jabberwock.
It seems like they're striving for some ideal version of the game.
Which may well be what they're doing right now. However, diehard fans don't doubt that there's some way to get through the game and that there's an Easter egg to be found. And like, the harder the game, the more they want to beat it. So some think that it might have been Dave's point, the game, not the designer, to drive others mad. And so when Bulb is talking about this Wormtooth on the forum, he's really just talking about himself, or his own demons and fears of imperfection and inability to finish his game.
I've seen Wormtooth mentioned in some places online. He's like a Slenderman type thing.
Yeah, like Wormtooth is this cryptid, like Bigfoot or Swamp Ape, maybe a demon or a goblin, this trickster who makes dark pacts with artists.
Almost a Rumpelstiltskin type story, spinning straw into gold, and then he comes to collect your firstborn.
Right. Many claim to have seen it, but many of the sightings are later found to be hoaxes. It is possible that this game is intended to be one of those hoaxes, or maybe some musician just co-opted the name of a creepy thing that he found online or in a book. Bulb may have just invoked the idea of Wormtooth to make his game seem creepier, maybe even making the music himself.
Is this where the rumors of the game being haunted rise from?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure he welcomed those. Some say he was too cavalier and called an actual demon into his game. The game itself becoming the Inferno that Dave is trapped in himself, this impossible puzzle that he can never finish, that having invoked Wormtooth as a joke, that the demon listened and accepted the contract Dave made unknowingly. We've all heard of the musician making the deal with the devil at the crossroads. It's not hard to see where Dave pulled it from.
Is there any evidence of a supernatural element at play?
Oh, come on, Matt. You don't believe in ghosts and demons.
Hey,
Jeez.
I've heard some weird stories. Whether or not I believe them, they're worth hearing.
I played the demo. It's fine. I see a game that glitches out at the third level after all. It's coincidence. The song's catchy and gets stuck in your head, so sure, you're sometimes humming it when a weird thing happens, but that's confirmation bias, or how Mothman got started, or El Chupacabra.
Wait, what's this about this song? What did you mean, a weird thing happens?
Oh, I thought you knew this. There's one of those creepypasta things that spun up around the game.
Again, like Slender Man?
Yeah, exactly. Weird events happen around the song, but the stories are all so different. If you play the song while blindfolded, Wormtooth will visit you, or you'll see a face in the mirror, or a knock at the door. Typical ghost things. You can attribute anything to whatever you want. Just because my power goes out while I'm playing the game doesn't mean the game caused it. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, I guess my question is... Okay, you remember those girls who killed their friend, or whatever, to please Slender Man? That's real horror. That's real life evil.
Yeah, well, no one's killed anyone. There's no disappearances. Some people get obsessed, but people get obsessed with lots of games.
Oh, so I guess what I'm saying is that, is it so far-fetched to think something so cryptic and compelling could have a psychological impact on the people involved with it? Like, what's the difference between a demon and something that inspires obsession?
I mean, to me, an obsession is just a way of coping. But I've always thought that a demon is something we face. A demon is something we can bargain with, or that we can defeat.
Sorry, I guess I was getting a little philosophical.
No, not at all. My obsession with the game is no different from the designers in a lot of ways, or no different with yours. But a demon is something that fights against us. I guess the problem rises when you become obsessed with your demons.
Well, there you have it, folks. Dave's Inferno. Is it a myth? We couldn't find a copy to play it, so we may never really know. Are the haunting tunes we found from the game actually from the game? Do they hold their own supernatural effects? Are they cursed? I don't have the answers, but listening to it now, there certainly is something unsettling that I can't put my finger on. Either way, the story behind their origin certainly is creepy, whether true or not. Thank you, Luke Herr, for talking to us about the game, and thank you for listening. I'm Matt Aukamp. See you next time. This was No Clip, the secret video game podcast about video game secrets. I'm Matt Aukamp, and as always, you can contact me with any video game secrets or mysteries you'd like me to explore at myname@gmail.com. And you can find my other podcast, Every Folk Song, where I explore each folk song in the Roud Folk Song Index in order. Thank you to The Mystery Eater for giving us our theme song, A Secret Passage. The rest of the music we use this episode is supposedly from Dante's Theme by Wormtooth from the video game Dave's Inferno by Hallucinogenic Bulb. Thanks to Luke Herr for talking to us, and thank you for listening. And remember, no one can beat the Majora's Mask speed record in under 25 minutes and 15 seconds, but you're welcome to prove me wrong.